Good morning, everybody. This is the homework answers for Unit 8, Lesson 1. Some of this was review, such as like doing things in standard form and plotting points, leading coefficient, that type of thing. But then we started getting into some of the definitions that result in answers for quadratics, which I want to just make sure that you guys are clear on. So the first one I want to talk about, so take a look at your answers. Pause it if you need to. The first one I would talk about is question number 5, which is the turning point. So the turning point is where, when you have a parabola, that you have it where it's going to be either the bottom or the top. So that's not where it's increasing or decreasing, it just is the turning point. So what you're looking for when you're looking for data, a table, is where you don't have a partner. So if you notice from the table from 5, you have a partner for -2 is 10 and also 2 is 10. It doesn't always have to be the same number, different sign. It just happens to be in this problem. So the turning point in this case is 0, 6. 6. Question number 6 talks about domain. Domain is going to be the x value, right? Range is going to be the y value. So we're bringing up things that we've done in the past. So they're looking for where it's always decreasing. So it's always decreasing from -infinity. So if I had written it a different way, I might have written it like this: -infinity, comma, all the way down to 1, 2. It's going to be, that's weird in math. Usually when we're just going down to the turning point, it's not going to be equal to it, because at the turning point it's not increasing or decreasing, it just is a turning point. So that's why it is going to be not equal to. I've noticed that some books actually do it equal to. I'm not going to sweat that, but it technically I feel should be a not equal to, like the book has it with the inequalities. In any case, that's one way you could have written it, or I just wrote it, but the other way you could have written it is by going that x is less than 2, which is number 4. Next page. Now we have them wanting to graph just over this. They want us to give us all sorts of information. First, we're supposed to graph it. Fine. Make sure that when you're graphing it, that you get this turning point in. So what's going to happen is you have to make sure that your turning point is going to be at least one of the numbers. So in this particular case, I'm going to actually have -1, -2, -3 at least, and positive 0, and 1. I didn't start at 0 in this case, because if you notice from your calculator that it's not starting, the turning point is not at 0. The turning point is at -1. So you want to make sure that you get half the numbers on the one side and half the numbers on the other. Super important. Okay, and then you'll fill in the data over here and then graph it. Didn't say you had to make a table. I like to make a table just to make sure I'm not going to get any of the data points wrong, because on the regions they will take off if you have a point not in the right place. So what are the questions here? We have B, state the coordinates of the turning point. Fine. It's a coordinate. It has to be XY, parenthesis, XY. Okay. Next one, state the range. I actually have it written down as both ways. The range is going to be the Y value, smallest to largest Y. In this case, the smallest Y is -4. It goes to infinity. So that's why you're seeing both those answers. Zeros. This is a new term. Zeros are where the graph crosses the x-axis. So that's when y is 0. It's when y is 0. That's why it's called zeros. So what are we looking for? We're looking for any place on the graph where y is 0. And I know that in this case, it was 0 was here, and 0 was also at 1. So it was -3 and 1. Over E, over which interval is this function negative? Be careful on this one. This one actually is tricky. We're looking for any time the interval is below the x-axis. An interval is always an x value, so it goes x values. Normally we'll write it as, in this case, -3 is less than x, which is less than 1, but you can also write it as an interval. Either one is fine. Finally, G comes back to haunt us again. What's the average rate of change for this interval from -2 to 4? So you just have to plug in the numbers. So -2 is, -2 is, what is -2? 4 was 21. Wow. And -2 was -3. So when you put the numbers in and then you do your math, 24 over 6 is 4. Okay. 8, you had to fill in the table. Once you start realizing what a parabola and a quadratic looks like, where you have the same numbers on opposite sides of the symmetrical parabola, you can fill in the blanks. So take a look at that and make sure you're good. And again, there's more questions again about zeros and the domain. And in this case, they're asking for the y-intercept where it crosses the y-axis. Remember, y-intercept is when x is 0. That's when x is 0. Okay. All right. If you have any questions, let me know. You guys have a wonderful day.